Hello, this is Marie from Learn English and Practice. Today, we will talk about building confidence when speaking English. So, we will start by talking about ways that you can feel better about your English and be okay with the fact that you are learning. The first thing I want to talk about is the fact that a lot of times when people are learning English, they want to learn it very quickly. They think they can start from no English and be speaking it fluently in a week, a month, but honestly, it usually takes much, much longer than that. So I think it's really important when you build confidence in English to make realistic goals. So don't tell yourself you're going to learn everything very, very fast. Instead, make sure that you set SMART goals. SMART is an acronym. That means that the letters stand for things. S stands for specific. So your goal should be something that is specific. It's not vague. It's not improve my health this year. Rather, it is something specific. So get 10,000 steps every day. That is specific. Next, measurable. So it should be something where you can define how successful you are. In the case of learning language, simply saying, I learned English doesn't mean much. Rather, being able to write a 5-sentence paragraph, that is measurable. Being able to complete past tense sentences, that is measurable. Next is attainable. So something you can actually accomplish. I know one year I said, this year I'm going to learn French. Did I know French? No. And did I think I was going to get fluent by the end of the year? I sure did. But you know what? I was working full time, going to school, very busy. I simply could not focus enough and study enough to get even conversational by the end of the year. So make sure it's a goal that you can actually accomplish. Don't set yourself up for failure. So a smaller goal I could have set was be able to have a 5-minute conversation using basic French with a native speaker. That would have been a very attainable goal by the end of the year. And the next thing to look at is relevant. So make sure that the goal you're setting is relevant to what you're trying to accomplish. So if my goal is to learn English, am I going to maybe set a goal about doing well in math? Probably not. That's not what we're trying to do. Make sure it's focused and on task. So being able to read a book in English, that's relevant. Lastly, and this is very important, time-based. So you want a goal that has a set date that you want to accomplish it by. A lot of people in the United States and all over the world will set New Year's resolutions. So that's the idea. When the new year starts, when it's January and a brand new year, you make your goals for the whole year. And those actually are time-based because the idea is that you complete it by the end of the year. However, in the case of learning English, it's usually better to have goals that are shorter term. So you should have a goal that maybe by the end of next month, you will have watched 5 movies in English and written a paragraph about each. That is a goal when you know when it's going to happen. So using that SMART goals framework, you can set yourself up for success because you break down what you're trying to do and you make it a lot easier to focus on what is important. The next thing to do to build confidence when learning English is to be okay with making mistakes. I know there are a lot of people who want to be perfect, myself included, and it can be really difficult to put yourself in a vulnerable position where you don't know who's listening, who's judging, and you feel like you are looking stupid. But one thing I say all the time is there are no stupid questions, and nobody's stupid when they're learning something new. So, in order to learn English, you need to make many mistakes. I can tell you the story that one time when I was learning Haitian Creole, I lived in Haiti and learned Haitian Creole. I tripped in front of a classroom and I wasn't fluent enough to really say what I was trying to say. So I said in Haitian Creole, "Oh no, I almost broke you," because I tripped over a student and almost knocked them over while I was teaching. It turns out what I said in Creole was actually a very dirty thing to say. It was very inappropriate and it made me very embarrassed. However, in that moment, I learned. I remember that and I'll always remember that. And it was absolutely worth it. So don't get embarrassed. Be okay with making mistakes and just try your best. If someone is really supporting you and really wants you to learn, they will be kind and let you make mistakes. You'll find on this channel in the comments, I usually won't correct people's English grammar unless they say something that where it's important to correct them, because I want you to have a chance to make mistakes and learn. The next thing I think is good to do when you're trying to build confidence in English is to vary the types of ways you learn. So everybody has different learning styles, and sometimes people learn best from a mix of styles. Some of the ways that people can learn are visually, so by watching, auditory, by listening, through reading and writing, and also through movement or kinesthetic, basically through physical action or movement. So the people who learn visually do well with diagrams, visual aids, presentations. They do well by kind of processing things with their eyes. And then also, the people who listen well can pick up on language by hearing what people are saying and understanding. A lot of times, if you live in another country and don't get to speak to many English language native speakers, you are limited a lot to reading or writing. So studying books can be really useful, but it should not be the only thing you're doing. On this channel, we focus a lot on practice. So simply studying English as hard as you can isn't going to get you to that next level, to that level where either you're able to speak in sentences, or you can understand, or even you're getting close to fluent. So you should understand how you learn best. So which of those styles makes sense for you, but then also combine them. So by doing a combination of things, you can build confidence, because maybe if you're struggling in one approach to learning English, by trying some others, you can vary your learning and get a chance to try something new. The next thing that you can do is dedicate time to your language learning. If you're only learning here or there, a little bit today, a little bit next week, it's very hard to remember and to build, because you forget everything you learned if you let too many days go in between your next time trying to learn. There's a concept called sacred time. And basically, what that means is that you set aside time and you dedicate that time to learning or to doing something specific. And that is all you do during that time. Focus 100% on what you're trying to do. I know that one thing you can do is take an hour every day where everything you do is in English. So everything you say, everything you watch on TV, everything you read, even your thoughts, everything in English. It's your sacred time in English. You can even watch YouTube videos. I know I have plenty of good practice videos on this channel. And by dedicating that time and doing it consistently, you'll feel better and more confident because you can remember and build and not just forget everything over and over. The next thing you can do for building confidence is using technology. Nowadays, there are a lot of options available. So if you have access to the internet or access to any sort of technology, you can take advantage of these things. The first thing you can do is use language learning apps. Things like Duolingo are free. There are paid versions, but there are many free apps available for you to use. There are also grammar checkers. When you type even in an email, using Microsoft Word, using Google Documents, you encounter grammar checkers and spell checkers to help you correct mistakes, at least the common ones. And then lastly, you can use translation. So Google Translate is a great option, and it can translate a lot of what you say in your native language into English and vice versa. It's not always perfect, but it can give you a good idea. At the very least, you can use it almost like a thesaurus, where you type in a word, and usually it'll give you a pretty good translation of that word in the other language. The last thing I want to recommend you do to build confidence is to find a compassionate study partner. Find a low stakes environment where you can practice without judgment. So you probably don't want to have the first time you're speaking English be in a formal classroom. Instead, maybe you want to try to speak a little bit of English with your friends, or record yourself speaking English, listen back, and think about how you can make changes. So try to find a safe space where you can learn English. This channel is definitely a safe space to learn and practice English. And in your home or community, you can find other people who are trying to learn. Connect with them, and they will help you. One place I know I like to go to see how people are learning English and what questions they have is Reddit. There are forums on Reddit where you can ask your English language questions and people will help you. So find good places to study your English, especially as a beginner. When you're first starting, try to find people who will support you and encourage you. And those are the main things I wanted to talk to you about. I feel like everybody needs a pep talk sometimes. I know learning a language can be very, very difficult. It's like nothing you will ever do again, because it's not like learning a fact or a single piece of information. It's learning thousands plus words and learning grammar, learning how to put it all together. It's very, very complex. So don't be hard on yourself, because the fact that you can learn a language and you're trying and you're working, like that's very impressive. And if anyone criticizes you for trying to speak English or trying to learn something new, don't listen. You're doing fantastic, and I encourage you to keep learning and keep trying. Please tell me about how you are working on your English language learning confidence below. I'll put some study tips videos and some of my recent videos down below. I hope you stick around on this channel. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I hope to see you in my next video. Thanks so much. Bye.